Today's social media has shown us a lot of psychological states.
ये जो words को हमने ना depression वगैरह बहुत casual कर दी है. These are serious words because it's a serious problem. Life has to be treated a little less seriously. Allow yourselves to make mistakes. Allow yourselves to stand up again. What's the big deal about success? It's wonderful. Hats off for those to the field of psychology and psychiatrists and the people who have contributed in normalizing this mental problem so that we are now so freely talking about it, and which is a wonderful, wonderful goal achieved.
Ever since I started the mental health awareness program, and we've been getting a lot of traction in India, and that's one of the reasons I asked you to do this with me. So now, it's in Hollywood, it's in Bollywood, from what I have also seen, that they are talking about emotional states all the time. So is the industry prepared for this? The Indian film industry, when we look at it, we think about success. When we look at the Indian theatre, we think about success. Today's social media has shown us that it's not just success, it has a lot of psychological states. In order to put some light on this, I have a very, very popular guest with me today, Sharman Joshi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
This is a very, you can say, popular yet controversial topic.
Mhm.
So I know it takes something to come on screen and talk about it. But looking at your track record, the kind of actor you are, the awards you won, the national awards, nominations, the roles that you have played in which you have shown academic success, fear, failure, and family successes, it only felt natural for me to have you here to have this conversation with you.
Thank you.
People think that actors are emotionally very strong. On a normal day, Sharman, how emotionally strong or stable do you feel?
It's very subjective, isn't it? So I believe in any case, my EQ is better than my IQ. So on a normal day, I think, I don't know how it's happened. I've not really worked on it, but when I interact with people and when they give me casual feedback sometimes upon how it was interacting with me, I get the impression that they find me like a balanced person to be. So I have my moments of laughter and jokes and monkeying around, and then I have my moments of reflecting and being just by myself. I love my company. I enjoy being with myself, and I love to go on like once in a while. I've been for movies since the time one has been recognized for the work. It becomes a little odd to go out alone because people feel like क्या हुआ घर पे कुछ झगड़ा हुआ होगा तभी आया ऐसे. So yeah, to plainly answer your question, I think I'm a balanced person, and emotional quotient varies upon the situations, and generally keep it balanced.
So when people see you alone, they should not be surprised anymore.
They shouldn't.
Yeah, घर में कोई
Because-
झगड़ा नहीं हुआ.
हाँ नहीं झगड़ा हुआ है. And I understand because anyone sitting like that by himself, anyone will like wonder. But yeah, correct, like you said. घर पे झगड़ा नहीं हुआ है.
So you have taken it upon yourself to reflect,
Mm,
and you basically use your skills
mm,
that you have learned over the years with your parents, with your siblings, with your wife, with your kids, that just sit back, reflect, socho, samjho,
mm.
and emotional quotient just gets higher that way.
I think so. ये तो अब I see many of these podcasts of some of the spiritual leaders, and this is when they talk about it, I've realized that this is what I have been doing, not consciously, not like with a plan, but I've always liked to I think my profession or what I was doing also might be the triggering point, so to say, to understand my character and its behavior in a given scene or the entire script. I used to reflect upon why would this person be in that situation the way he was? Why would he say this line? What is the intention behind it? So it's very important to create a subtext apart from the written words by the writer, and of course in line with the written words. Otherwise, it does not work. I consult with my directors, and this is how I'm thinking. Is the thought process right? Because then eventually I will reflect on the performance, on my facial expressions and all of that. As a person, also I become in my day-to-day life. Uh, I like to think about what I did, why I did it, and how would I do it differently or not.
Okay. So acting demands emotional access on command.
Mm-hmm.
So does your mind and body clearly know when a role starts, when a role ends, and how you're going to, compartmentalize?
With time, I think, with time. Initially, it is a struggle to get those bearings right and then to deliver on command. Put into that so that when the director calls for action, you should be able to deliver it. In spite of that, you don't get it for the longest time, and then it's trial and error. You keep at it, and eventually, I think at this point of time, more or less, I'm in command of mostly all my emotions.
So, just in lines with this, have you ever felt emotionally exhausting without understanding why, simply because you were just continuously performing?
If I was continuously performing and I was emotionally exhausted, then I understand why, right? Okay, continuously performing, and that performance takes a lot out of you, and so I'm emotionally exhausted is very understandable. That's the time when I like to be on my own, just to recoup, gather my energy back, and then spend time with people, because I can't then, because whatever interaction, even a casual interaction, requires energy out of you. So if I've been at work continuously, I will need time out before I can get back to my day-to-day life.
So, this is a reset when you have been continuously performing. But has there been a time when, even though the performance was not continuous, but it just felt so emotionally charged that you just didn't know what to do?
No, fortunately, not so in my case. My homework has generally been limited in terms of the character study and understanding of it. I rely on the director, his vision, his take on it, because in any case, he is the one in charge. I'm just a tool to, he uses to say the story forward. So what is running in his mind, I pick that up and I then execute. So effectively, emotionally, I'm invested a little deeper than surface level, and not that deep enough that I even after a take or after a stage performance, I am connected to theater. I can snap out of it.
Since you've been doing this for such a long time, like you've practically done this all your life, you breathe this, you live this, and you think this, right? So
Not so much, and also take time off. Otherwise, it gets too boring.
that's true.
Just living also, just being. It's very important. So I purposefully do that so that I'm not engrossed in what you just said, live, breathe, eat. वो कर दूंगा तो I feel there's some danger to mainly the spontaneity of things in terms of the work that I do. That might be marred. So I purposefully break away from it and far away from me till I need to bring it back.
So you basically know when to tell yourself, stop,
Yeah.
I need a break. So you've learned, okay, this is the time I need to take a break now. And so when you are emotionally charged and you have so much work to do, and you know there are things that need to be done, but you also know that your body needs a break, your mind needs a break, your emotional state definitely needs a reset. What do you tell your work people?
See, sometimes situations arise in a way that you can't help. That's when you push yourself and try and do your best, knowing fully well that had I had the time to re energize, I could have done this job better still. And if because the situation was such, we had to make do with whatever we could. So in that case, I'm, uh, I don't punish myself too much. I understand the situation in spite of as long as your intentions are honest and clear and you're conscientious about your work and you're doing it to the best of your ability, capability, then I don't think anything worries you.
So you have a good insight on how you think, how you feel, and how you relay this to the world outside.
Yeah. I see when I'm portraying a character, I hope with the director's, of course, guidance, we hope that we've reached the right energy balance, whatever it is that character needs and comes alive on screen, on stage. Now, you put in your best, and then hopefully, you hope that everyone connects with that work.
So when you entered the industry, how was mental health, the mental stress viewed? Was it weakness, drama, or something to suppress?
So, mental stress and its importance has been stressed upon, as far as I remember, is in recent times. And when I came in, it was heard of, but not as commonly as you hear of it now. So it was just you fail and you pick yourself up and work at it again. You fall again, pick yourself up, and that was the broad understanding of it. But now, with from what I hear and understand, that people find it sometimes it's very difficult, even for the most level-headed person, to regain himself or herself from any emotions that they feel to such an extent that it's not doing good for them. तो वो अब समझ आ गई है, and I respect the fact that we have so many professionals now, such as yourself, who are attending to them and trying to show them the path forward, which is wonderful. And also at the same time, I would like to say that, especially for the youngsters who might be watching this, it is one thing, I'm not diluting its seriousness, but also on the other end, something which I'm going to say which might offend a few people, even at that risk, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, is that life has to be treated a little less seriously. Allow yourselves to make mistakes. Allow yourselves to stand up again. Allow yourselves to not always succeed. What's the big deal about success? Allow yourselves the failures and enjoy that, like you enjoy your success. And don't take things too seriously for your own good. So keep it simple. I think that's the mantra. If you keep it simple, I mean, try to keep it simple. We all trying that all the time. It's not easy, but you have to. I feel that unclutter the rubbish in your head time to time, constantly. Not I'll deal with it when I really have to. Do not let a problem stay with you. Address it. Even if you don't find a solution, because you're not finding a solution, I would suggest that do not postpone it for some other time. Keep at it, and yes, postpone it temporarily, but get back to it in a short period of time. Is my understanding. That's what I've done, and that's what I would like to share, especially with the younger ones. And yes, if you have a deeper problem than that. Of course, we must consult professionals such as you, and there's no shame in that. Absolutely not. Mental health is as critical as for physical health. We understand mental health is everything actually. After that, everything else can fall into place. So yeah.
So that was very well said. It's very important for the youngsters to hear this from people like you that they look up to, and they know that you make a difference on screen, off screen. This is very, very important. So there was a time when actors in the industry were told to adjust. But today, there's this whole talk about healing, and they're asked to heal also. Has the pressure reduced, or has just the language changed?
I think everyone's intention, from the top man, the father of the film, the producer, to the director, the mother, to all the technicians and actors, intention is to make a wonderful film that the people enjoy. Sometimes you have to take the pressure and off the work. That's the nature. It's a performing art. So pressure is always there in this kind of a field. Number of hours is 12 hours, which everyone is at peace with. And lesser the hours, I feel personally the output would be better. 10 hours would be ideal, I think, and enough work will be done, provided everyone is bang on time, and then you can maximize the day. So pressure, I don't know which way otherwise. Pressure that's the asking for this profession that I've taken up.
Okay.
You have to be at peace with that.
So pressure is pretty much in all the fields, not just in the field of acting, right? Performance
performing
is,
field,
yeah.
generally like an athlete also,
Mhm.
cricketer, any performing fields basically, the pressure is more so.
Yeah.
Because that day, that moment matters that much more.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So that particular stress.
Mm.
So when it comes to like athletes,
Mm.
there's sports psychology. People are taught motivation. They're taught how to control their anxiety in the moment.
Mm.
They're taught how to work with the pressure and how to alleviate the pressure in the moment, because they want to make sure the performance is not impacted. So what about in the Indian film industry? Do you guys go through anything like this? Do you all have mentors that help you all understand that, okay, like you understand pressure is important, right? You've been in this for so long, but you have newcomers. Do they understand that, okay, having a 12-hour shift is a normal thing? It's not such a big deal. You just work with it. Like in my field, we know that, okay, 8 hours, that's not going to cut it at all. We do need to go beyond the 8, the 10 hours. But we have mentors. We have internships in which we have mentors that explain that to us. But what about in the film industry? Do you guys have mentors? Do you all have coaches? Do you all have any extra help to help you all understand that this is the normal standard? It's okay. This is what we work with. And this pressure is unfortunately or fortunately normalized, and there's a way to work through it. Like you've learned how to do it because you have those skills, and you are someone who by personality seems like you self-reflect a lot. But does the industry have that, do they have these resources?
No, I mean, well, unless you come to work, you are a professional, you're treated as a professional, you're expected to figure these things out by yourself. Uh, you are going to be paid money for this, you'll be going to be paid your fees for it. So a producer, director expects certain amount of your understanding, which you gather from your experiences, to be brought to work, and then accordingly you will be your fees would be decided. So I'm saying it's a professional setup. There won't be resources, extra resources to help you sort yourself out, sort your head out, and just before that important day. Yeah, it's not practical. It's not practical, and because even that measure does not have any guarantee that the next day the shoot is there and I'll be able to deliver it because of one session that I might have had with my psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever you might want to call it.
Okay. So do you feel that an ongoing person, like someone like me, who would consult with someone in the industry and would be working with them not on a once in a while, like, okay, you have a shoot tomorrow, you have to deliver tomorrow, but just working with them constantly, like you work on yourself constantly. There are a lot of people that don't have that. They don't work on themselves constantly. And when the pressure comes, they break. And then you have people going through these, there's so many, I don't know if I want to call it, and again, I might be putting myself in trouble by saying this, the paparazzi is talking about a lot of people in the industry in a lot of pressure, having mental breakdowns and things like that. Do you think if we had some professionals who could help them through this, would that be helpful?
That, like I mentioned, if you feel your problem is deeper than what is generally perceived as a problem, then you must consult a professional. And nowadays, it's a very popular concept and idea where you go and talk to professionals who help you understand yourself and find a way out for yourself. That's a good thing to do. And if you don't think it's that serious a problem, then I guess you try and work on it yourself and see if you can find a way out. So I've not really thought about this that seriously. So I don't know how to really answer this.
Right. And I kind of figured that out. So one of the things, even though it is not in your understanding right now, that even when we have people who are going in for either a clinical doctoral program or they're going to become surgeons or whatever, it's a lot of hours of work. It's a lot. And I have seen you personally taking your time to practice. The dialogues are brutal. Like you have to work, like you study everything, right? Yeah. And I know it because I've seen all of this myself.
But not me, all actors do.
I know, but but I'm giving yours as, see, that's the problem. Your mindset is कि ये तो मेरा profession है, ये तो मुझे करना ही है. ये Gen Zs का नहीं है, ये हम लोग millennials का है. So they have that कि you don't understand my feeling. उनका ना सब कुछ feeling पे based है. हमारे generation में हम लोग का work ethics is very different. Our work ethics are very strong. हम लोग को जब पता है हमने कुछ काम करना है, हमने करना है.
Correct.
We are going to push through, we're going to fight through, and this is our end goal. And we have the perseveration of patience also. Like in our field,
Correct.
Your field, my field.
Yes.
Nothing happens overnight.
True.
The only time, like I've been in this field for years, but success has just come a few years ago. Why? Because it needed those years of maturity, right? Not just as a person, but in the field. Because the more experience you have, the more mature you get. That is not the case with the Gen Zs today. They are impatient. They want, I am feeling like this. This is how I need my things. I need my space. I need you to respect me. They don't see कि respect दोगे तो मिलेगा. पहले respect चाहिए. So that causes cognitive dissonance in them. So now, like, it's in Hollywood, it's in Bollywood, from what I have also seen, that they are talking about emotional states all the time. So is the industry prepared for this newer crowd that is coming in?
My understanding of the Gen Zs and all is very limited. So with your understanding of it, your study of it, your interaction with them, you will have a more deeper insight into this. So I don't want to say something which might not hold true or might be something just which is not my field of understanding. तो अगर ऐसा है जैसे आप कह रहे हो, feelings is a good thing. उनको positively convert करे तो अच्छी बात है. Those feelings you can empathize, sympathize. You can add those feelings into any kind of work that you're doing. That is a wonderful thing. feelings has to be respected. And if you're saying that, they expect respect, so respect is commanded, no? By the work you do, by the way you conduct yourself, you will get your respect. Don't be in a rush. It takes time, and you do your things correctly. And I think
Yeah, this is what,
deserve it, you will get it. Huh?
yeah, this is exactly what people also need to hear, that do the work and respect is commanded, and your work and your attitude, your behaviors will command that respect.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, so in social media, we see that, there's talk about mental health in Bollywood. So does Bollywood talk about mental health only after tragedies force the conversation? Or, you are in the field, you're around people in Bollywood. So do they actually talk about mental health? Or is it only on screen when a tragedy happens?
To generally say about the entire Indian film industry would be very difficult to say. Uh, People talk about mental health depending on their experiences, I feel, and their you uh, battle with it, or their fight against their state of mind, which may not be in the pink of health, which they understand, and then that's when they bring it up. Otherwise, as of now, to I say, how does one know unless you're a professional
All
like
right.
yourself that what kind of a mental health is that particular individual in? You won't know that. So, everyone just focuses on the work.
Right. So only when there's a tragedy, when someone has hurt themselves, committed suicide, or something untoward, someone has happened in the industry. So I believe that's the time because that's the only time when we've seen social media highlight mental health. So does that happen in like you said, I think it's quite natural that when you're sitting in a work environment and your work is about movies, about TV series, about drama, about the production, about the direction. So your conversations are going to be around it. Like if you go into party with a lot of financial investors, it's all going to be about that. So I guess it's the same in the industry also, only when a tragedy hits that someone talks about it. So there's no preamble to that. It's just when the tragedy hits. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of these really amazing, iconic roles that you have done. The most amazing one that I love the most, I know when we've talked in the past, you've talked about your Rang De Basanti role also, but I absolutely love your Raju Rastogi role. And as a mental health professional, I absolutely relate to that also. And the way you dealt with it, the way you dealt with the friendship, and how y'all were willing to give up everything for each other, how you all stood with each other. That was amazing. So how was that while you were shooting for it? How were you emotionally invested in that character?
That was a picnic. It was a joyride. You had professionals, Mr. Vinod Chopra, Mr. Raju Irani, Mr. Amir Khan, uh, making sure everything is in order. A script that we were all very excited to work on. We all knew that there's something special, that we have, and we were sure about the love we'll get for this film. As in, we knew that people would appreciate the work, but how much and in what quantum will this be accepted was to be seen. So these are all special guys. We waited for one whole year. Vinod sir, Raju sir, Amir. The time is very important. It's of a sense. They use it very wisely in spite of to getting the schedule in Ladakh, as in the natural forces suddenly it snowed when it was not supposed to. And we had to we had to discontinue the shoot there, come back to Bombay and Mumbai, and then think of they were thinking about alternate locations to shoot at, but they were not satisfied with any of the terrains close by around India, basically, because only then it would match the terrain of Ladakh. So finally, they came to the conclusion that no, this is it's not living up to our expectations. Ladakh is the spot we have to go back to. They waited 1 whole year to do that. So I'm saying when you're working with such kind of people, at least people like me, I was completely, I said they will make sure it's happening well. All I need to do is turn up at the job and do the best I can.
So you talked about how much in tune you are with yourself.
I don't know about that.
When you were explaining your self-care, that's what it meant, that
Yeah.
you're in tune with yourself. When you self-reflect, that happens. And it just happened just now.
Yeah.
When you said
So
Bombay,
Mumbai. Yeah.
and you immediately switched it to Mumbai,
Yeah.
that is an amazing feat of a person who actually is able to reflect. And your self-reflection is evident in the way you even communicate. And that is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Compliment.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. So I'm going to go back to Raju Rastogi.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, because, I have also seen how you get into the character. I've personally seen it. And that's why I think this line of questioning absolutely goes for you. So Raju Rastogi, he lives with this constant fear that his failure can destroy his family. How difficult was it to embody that level of fear?
It was all in the written word. Believe me, I'm not saying this out.
So कुछ emotion नहीं था.
It was just written so beautifully. You speak the lines as well as you can, and it will reach the audiences out there. Okay, now because it was written so beautifully, it inspires the actor within you also to deliver it as well as you can. So, see, I'm not the kind of actor, and I have full respect to who go through that process and they believe in the process. I don't have any process per se to uh, to the way I approach my characters. The script is the Bible. I treat it like the Gita, the Quran, whatever it is. I mean, whatever text you want to refer to, and I just follow that uh, without any questions. And after ample study, if I feel there's one thing I can say which might make a difference, then I may suggest it to my director, and if he feels so, then he incorporate it. Otherwise, I just go by what is written there, and that becomes my guiding force to portray the character. So I don't really study and the in-depth aspect of it. It's not my way of doing things. My way of doing things is to read that and what is it that I'm getting as a reader, as a viewer, if I was to view this film once it was shot, and as an actor, and all of that put together, how would I take this forward or act it out, enact it, is what I then do.
Okay, so this is beautiful. You get the script, you read it, you understand, and you understand it from the director's point of view, what he's trying to portray. Or maybe I didn't get that right.
Generally, I read it once, so I read it twice, and then straight when I'm going to start working on the film,
Mhm.
I would read it once again, and then at the shoot, I just go with uh, the day's work, which is n number of scenes to be shot, and I just read those scenes because I have a fair enough idea now of how the script begins and ends and the middle of it. All of that I know, so I have that graph roughly in my head,
Mhm.
in my in my first reading, I have a good idea of it because I kind of read it. Second reading is casual, and third reading is even more casual. So I know the flow of it, and then just follow my instincts.
Yeah.
And the director's instinct, of course.
So unknowingly, you actually have probably, when this is out and, some people, I'm sure a lot of people will view this, you have unintentionally mentored a few people.
Have I?
Yeah. When you give this way that works for you, and then you help
But each one has
explain
their
that
own
process.
way. Yeah.
Right. That's what I said. For some people, you have mentored them
Yeah.
because not every person is built differently. Even though we
Yeah,
are humans,
exactly.
we're built differently. What works for one does not necessarily work for the other.
Of the other.
For someone, 5 different ways, parts of those 5 different ways works for them. But what you explained is your process.
Yeah.
And for people who are in the industry or who are striving to get in, they probably think, oh my, I cannot connect emotionally into that scene, into that character. How do I get into that character? So the way you explained it, you were like reading it, understanding it, emotionally bonding with that is your way.
Also, 10 years of theater before I got into films. In fact, when I did my first 3 films, I was doing theater alongside constantly. Even now I do theater, but I've taken a break of 10 years. I started again since the past 5 years. But I do it once in a while. And as opposed to the initial years when I was from my theater, I got a lot of understanding. And that's time all the youngsters were watching this theater. If you have an access to it in any which way, then that is something you must do if you intend to be an actor, because that's when the director, who has a greater, deeper understanding of things, of your craft included, they have the time to spend on you and your craft and get you prepared for the role that you're going to now play out. As opposed to a film shoot, the time is limited, the monies are big. So effectively, there's only that much time that can be spent with all the talents. That's why I was saying, when you come to a film set, you are expected to be a professional. You are expected to be not mollycoddled.
Right.
You have to deliver right away because that's how you got the assignment. So that's the difference. Theater, you'll get to a lot of learning.
So you actually get the mentorship in the theater.
Yeah, for me,
Yes,
that's what
that was so. That's why you've gotten to that level of maturity because you got it.
Also the kind of person I was, I am. I'm very shy. So for me to, behind the facade of a character that I'm playing, it's very easy to say my lines and do what I have to do. But to get that out, theater was my uh, space where I could really practice on myself, bring the actor within out in the forefront. Basically, firstly, my confidence, and then the theater directors whom I worked with were all really wonderfully talented people who helped me in that process. So, मेरे लिए बड़ा, that was a very, very, since I come from a theater family, my dad, my uncle, Arvind Joshi, Praveen Joshi, early exposure to that world. And then my dad was a kind of guy who just let me find my own path. He was quietly guiding me. I could feel that sense from the boundaries somewhere, watching me, but not getting into the process because it's an individualistic process which he was fully aware of, being such a fine actor. Mm, so he let me find myself.
Do you know there are a lot of people in this country, especially the Indian parents, whether it's in US, in UK, Australia, or any part of the world, India, they always are hounding their kids. That, this is what we want you to be. This is what we want you to eventually become. This is how we want you to feel. All of that.
Yeah.
So hearing about this, that you were so beautifully allowed to do what you want and pursue what you wanted to pursue. So that's a very, yes, absolutely very, very fortunate. I get a lot of people that contact me, and a lot of their issues are stemming from what their parents want and what their parents had dreamt of for themselves and now are putting it on their kids. So this is you were very fortunate.
I was very fortunate.
Very fortunate.
Truly.
So this is a resource that a lot of people don't have. So your family was your biggest resource.
So it's designed by the one up there sometimes.
Absolutely.
So those were my, advantages that I got. Born into a family which was involved in this, not with films, but on stage. And then, the way they thought, progressive mind they were. They allowed us, they took the chance of us being responsible for ourselves, and they knew that was very important for us.
Mm.
Some parents sometimes are very concerned about how responsible the child is. Has he reached on time? Has he had his nashta? Has he gotten a car and a driver? Does he have the money to? The parents just let go. So many of my fellow students, now this is my experience. I'm not saying all the parents be like this. I'm just talking about my experience. The way my parents raised me. Many of my friends had deadlines and all that of 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock midnight and whatever not. And they used to ask me, what is your deadline? And I used to say, I don't have any. And then I used to think about it, and I used to say, shit, my parents don't care for me, or all of them have a deadline to come back home at a particular time. और यहाँ पे किसी को कोई चिंता ही
चिंता नहीं, पहले तो समझ ही नहीं आया होगा कि डेडलाइन क्या है.
डेडलाइन मतलब डेडलाइन क्या होती है भाई? Exactly.
जब समझ आया तो
given a lot of freedom in terms of these basic things about time and your work and your studies, and they of course used to say time to a lot of time in between. They used to say that do what has to be done, that's all. So and then used to leave it to us, and we ourselves were conscientious enough. They made us so that we made sure we did our work well as we could. And then I never used to judge me. I was not a great student. I was an average, above average kind of a student. That was, they were fine with it. You say, as long you tried hard, you tried your best, yeah, that's it.
So that's great. So attitude of gratitude, good resources, good parenting, and having such amazing resources. You walked into the industry with these resources.
Yeah.
So कोई तो problem ही नहीं थी.
But the first time I walked into the sets of Godmother, which is my first film, I had never been to a film set. I'd been with my dad to Gujarati film sets, but they were not as. This was an art film, and yet this was the film set was larger than whatever I've ever seen. My first time on a Hindi film set, and so many people around, 100, 200, whatever number of people. I'm wondering what are they all going to do. Then you realize later as the shoot progresses that everyone has a job to do. And to find yourself and find your peace and gather yourself in such years was the first thing I needed to learn on a film set. Because in theatre, that luxury is available to you immediately. Because it's not as chaotic as a film set. So to get into what you need to do is easier on stage as opposed to a film set.
So you basically got used to the stage chaos, and then you were just thrown into the big chaos.
Correct.
Yeah. So basically you started riding the bicycle with 2 training wheels.
Correct.
And without getting one off, both were taken off and you were thrown into a race. Like, go fend for yourself. Yeah. Wow. Okay. But from what I'm hearing, you had enough backbone and that strength given in that backbone by your resources, be it your parents, be it your friends, be it your extended family, be it, your theater people, your directors, your mentors, who were basically your directors and your you had that, so you were able to stick your ground in the industry. That is huge. Yeah. So do you think emotionally sensitive people or emotionally fragmented people join the industry, or is just someone who aspires to be on the big screen?
No, each one has a reason behind why they are where they are. So it's to just kind of departmentalize that, like emotionally fragmented, emotionally sensitive. Uh, no, I think when they step into it in the beginning, even they wouldn't know why they're doing it. They're doing it because they, I think it's their heart telling them that. And you follow your heart. That's what my parents always told me. You follow your heart, do the right thing, and then use the brain only once in a while.
Yeah. Follow your heart, do the right thing, and follow your brains only once
Once in
in a while. Yeah, I wish I could say that to the people in my profession, because then it's just going to be then it would be chaos for us, because we walk into this field knowing that we are walking into chaos. And
leap of faith, Ketan.
huh.
You have faith in the Almighty. You felt so strongly about being in this field and trust Him.
So over this, this whole thing that this amazing interview that you did with me, we call it interview or we call it a podcast, whatever you guys call it these days. But this amazing conversation that I had with you, one thing I learned about you, I watched the patterns. I heard the way you were talking. And I don't know if you realize that you've got a very spiritual yet practical approach to life.
I've not really given it a thought, but you feel that way?
Being a scientist, I look at data. So I kind of analyze, like put your responses
spiritual and practical. I think that's a good space to be in.
It's a beautiful space to be in.
Perfect.
And being in that space is, it doesn't come easy. So it must have taken a lot to get there without you even realizing.
That's what I think
you haven't realized, because you've had your share of successes.
Yeah.
You've had your share of failures. You've had your share of waiting patiently for your successes.
Yes.
And that's a journey. And somehow you make that journey sound easy. You make that journey sound that you've put the work in, but I think you put the work into yourself, where you understood yourself, where you became a more conscientious person, more than what your parents made you out to be.
Yeah. I think one thing I realized that there's only that much I can do. And once I'm sure that I've done what I need to do, then I wait it out till it happens to me. I am a guy who, now there are two approaches. My cousin and I have discussed this. My cousin brother believes in making things happen, and that's his personality, and that's the way he approaches life in general, on all counts, professionally, personally. It's instinctively that wait for it. And while you're waiting for it, work on yourself as hard as you can. So that's been the way I've been, yeah.
Yeah. So waiting for it doesn't come easy for everyone. It's a tough, waiting is tough.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So patience is the highest virtue required especially in this line of work, in the field that I'm in.
So is there any kind of grief attached to the roles that you wanted but you didn't get, or the roles that you thought you were going to do really well in it but didn't as much? You probably put in all your effort, but it was not reciprocated in the same effort put. So was there any grief attached to it?
You feel bad. Of course you feel bad. But the thing is that when the entire team, it's a team work. It's like sport which is a team sport, like it's football or it's like any team cricket, as opposed to an individual sport like maybe a tennis singles game. That's where the onus is entirely on you. This, and of course, you have a team as your coach and all of that. But I'm saying on the performing field, it's just you. So in this field, that is not the case. It's absolutely teamwork with the best of the efforts. When things don't receive the kind of response we were hoping to as a team, you feel bad. You feel very bad. But you, like I mentioned earlier, just pick yourself up and move on to the next best thing that you can do and bring it to the audience, and hopefully they'll like it this time. And you fail again and again, rise up, and with that approach you keep at it. If you, I think, if you passionately are in love with this, now it becomes very easy to do so. Otherwise it can get challenging, and that's how it is.
So how did you, what are some of the things that you did when you felt challenged, when you felt like, yeah, abhi to bura laga hai, to abhi, like what are some of the things you did in the moment at that time? Because everything that you've told me right now is all hindsight, that you have to pick yourself and move on and things like that. But when you're in that moment, how did you feel?
So I'd read Yashi's interview, Yash Chopra sir. उनका interview I'd read, or it was a video I'd seen, where he had mentioned that if any of his work does fail, then he just locks himself in the room for a week, 10 days, or whatever number of days till he's ready to come out and start anew. So I've been doing that also, and I feel very relaxed when I do that. And things have not worked out the way I was hoping on any count, depending on how serious it is. The longer the break, the longer the time. To just be by myself for for a long time, and then think about alternative plans about how I can move forward in a positive way and pick up from where I left it last.
Okay. I'm going to go back to that, going back in the room. And in that room, and when you lock yourself, how do you process that information? Do you cry it out, or you self-affirm, like, you know what, this is okay, it happened, I need to move on? So what, you self-talk? How do you process this?
Sorry, also in the interview you mentioned that he used to lock himself and go to sleep.
Okay.
So that's what I would like to do also, but नींद तो नहीं आती है, लेकिन ज़्यादा I don't think about what has happened already,
Okay.
because of which I'm upset. I don't think of it. It's happened. I have to accept that. That is my thought, and keep it aside now. And now just relax, whichever way. Just time out. Just be by myself, and just that's it. And then when I feel that I have gathered some energy, then think about what happened and see where it went wrong, and take the onus for it if it was you were a key element. And if not, then you just move on, because like I mentioned, it's a team thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's art, right? So with the best of the intentions, with your best of the convictions, sometimes things don't work out the way you were hoping they would. So it's an inside outside process. Well, different ways of approaches, but I like it the inside out kind of an approach is preferable for me, because what I'm feeling, I put it out there, and I'm hoping that many people can relate to it, and effectively that work can be successful. तो अगर ऐसा होता तो बल्ले बल्ले, नहीं होता तो you work on yourself again.
Yeah. So, as I said, psychologists are scientists, right? We look at data, we analyze it, and then we come up with results. And again, I'm going to tell you, you are an absolute self-reflector. When you are looking at, okay, what went wrong, what could I have done differently, and what I need to do differently to make this work, that again is a lot of self-reflection. And a lot of people cannot do it on their own. And they require professionals like us to help them understand that, okay, it's not the end of the world. Let's do it. Let's see what went wrong.
Yeah.
Let's, dissect what it is and let's put it back together for the next project. And they say success comes to a lot of people that prepare for the opportunity. And when there's enough preparation and the opportunity presents itself, you can take it and you can succeed.
Yeah, true.
So that's
True that.
motivational.
With some blessings from up there.
Without the
That's
supernatural powers, even scientists like us cannot do anything. We rely on them too. That there is something out there that when you tell them, you manifest that, this is what you want, this is how you want things, it happens to you. So Sharman, before we end, is there any piece of advice that you could give the younger generation of this country so that they feel that, oh my God, my hero said this to me, and it will resonate with them?
so I won't classify it as a piece of advice, but something that I've been observing and marking, and I feel that this is something I want to share with everyone watching us, is that it's wonderful. Hats off, kudos to the field of psychology and psychiatrists and the people who have contributed in normalizing this mental problem, so that we are now so freely talking about it, and which is a wonderful goal achieved, I think. And I think we've more or less achieved it across the country now, including the smaller towns. People talk about it freely and it's normalized, which is very important. But at the same time, human beings have a tendency to go to the extremes. जब lack of awareness थी, तो इस level की lack of awareness थी, which was like pathetic. And अब जब awareness हुई है और उसको normalize करते करते इतना हो गया है normalize कि हर छोटी सी चीज में you worry about is this a problem deeper than what it actually is. तो मुझे यही कहना है, पहले शुरुआत में भी मैंने कहा था ये, और अभी भी ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि आप अपनी विजडम पे ट्रस्ट करके देखिएगा. अगर लगता है कि प्रॉब्लम वाकई बहुत बड़ी है, तो फिर ऑफ कोर्स यू लाइक आई सेड, यू शुड एड्रेस अ प्रोफेशनल. एंड इफ नॉट, यू फील कि फ्रेंड्स और फैमिली में ही ये सॉर्ट आउट हो सकता है, तो जो भी आप, जिनको भी आप रिस्पेक्ट करते हो इन टर्म्स ऑफ हाउ देयर आउटलुक टुवर्ड्स लाइफ, उनसे सलाह मशवरा कीजिएगा एंड यू मे फाइंड अ वे आउट. एंड ये जो वर्ड्स को हमने ना डिप्रेशन वगैरह बहुत कैजुअल कर दिया है. दीज आर सीरियस वर्ड्स बिकॉज इट्स अ सीरियस प्रॉब्लम. दैट्स व्हेन यू अप्रोच द प्रोफेशनल्स. बट हम लोग कैजुअल कॉन्वर्सेशन में बोल के इसको इतना नॉर्मलाइज कर दिया है कि वी फील इट्स अ कूल थिंग टू बी, कूल स्टेट ऑफ माइंड टू बी इन. So don't do that to yourself and be very careful of the words that you use, especially in the mental health space. So yes, this is what I wanted to say.
I'm going to piggyback off of that. I thought we were going to end, but this definitely requires a little more attention. What you just said, and ever since I started the mental health awareness program, and we've been getting a lot of traction in India, and that's one of the reasons I asked you to do this with me. And we've seen that a lot of people do take the smallest thing and take it to the extreme. And we have to tell them that this is life. Try just meditating. That's probably going to help. Think about it in a different way and it will help. We've even told people, talk to your mom, talk to your parents, approach them, we've tried to, like, instead of being like, yes, you have depression and it's the end of the world, or you have anxiety which is going to completely, terrorize your life. And this is very well said, that instead of taking it to the extreme, look at it from a different perspective. It's a way of life. And if yet it's not working out, then there's something wrong. Like I've told you guys in one of my reels, the only time depression, anxiety, or any of these disorders are a disorder if you are impacted with your functioning on a social level, on a personal level, on a professional level, and you are just not able to do the things that you do on a daily living standard. That's when you know that it has impacted you and you need the professional help. However, these small things can become big. And when if you feel that it's not an issue right now, but you think that it could be an issue, of course you should approach mental health professionals. You should come to people like us so we can help you identify whether it is actually a problem or it is something which is just a daily life thing, which you can make small adjustments to your life and make it happen. So continue watching our channel, continue watching my reels. And if you have any questions, please do reach out via DMs. And the ones that have done that we do respond and we do make appointments and I do call and talk to people. So Sharman, I am going to end this on a very positive note with you, that it has been an absolute pleasure doing this. Known you on different levels, but doing this with you at this level was completely different. I've got to know you as a different kind of a person today. And, when they say that clinical psychologists, when they go into a party with friends and family, they start analyzing. I actually don't. I am,
Good thing.
yeah,
Cutting off from here.
I'm able to put my professional and personal aside, and I've seen you do that too. But today was definitely very refreshing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.